So it is time then for the day's business news. We're starting with a report, in fact, today that shows just how badly COVID has hit the global tourism sector. And Cole Stangler's with us on set to tell us more, Cole.
That's right, Stuart. This new report out from the United Nations World Tourism Organization. Now, it found that the pandemic will cost the international tourism sector some 1.8 trillion euros this year. That figure is about the same as it was last year at the start of the outbreak. While tourism did pick up over the summer, international arrivals this year still 76% lower than when they were back in 2019. While Europe and the Americas are seeing rebounds, visits to the Asia-Pacific region still well below pre-COVID levels, you can see there. Nick Rushworth has more on the story.
Tourists have been few and far between in the last couple of years because of the COVID-19 outbreak. The industry has been one of the worst hit sectors. On top of the virus-related travel restrictions, there's been the economic strain caused by the pandemic, a spike in oil prices and disruption to supply chains. The UN's World Tourism Organization says the sector has gone from the highs to the lows.
The best year in tourism industry, talking about the numbers of visitors, numbers of revenues, was 2019, and the worst one was 2020. This is clear, and it's historical crisis in tourism industry.
The sector remained weak in the first half of this year, but saw an upturn from July to September. The World Tourism Organization says the recovery remains fragile. International tourist arrivals this year globally have been 76% down on 2019 levels. Arrivals in the Americas were 65% down. In Europe, the drop compared to 2019 was 69%, and in Asia-Pacific, a whopping 95%. On an upbeat note, in Europe, the EU Digital COVID Certificate has helped facilitate free movement within the European Union, releasing pent-up demand for travel. The WTO says there are some causes for optimism.
There is more knowledge about virus. There is more readiness regarding sanitary readiness in many countries. Vaccination is there. So there are many new opportunities and digital solutions.
On the downside, the organization is warning, however, that uneven vaccination rates worldwide and new COVID-19 strains could impact the already slow tourism recovery.
Well, turning now to the day's trading action with European indexes posting some gains at the open, recovering some of these steep losses that we saw on Friday. As you can see here, still anxieties over the Omicron variant really dominating the markets. The CAC 40 up around 1.2%, also seeing some gains over on the FTSE and the DAX. Investors also waiting for a Eurozone consumer confidence report that's coming later this morning. Meanwhile, we're seeing oil prices having something of a rebound, again after very heavy losses that we saw on Friday. Futures for international benchmark Brent crude up 4%, now trading at just under $75 a barrel. Well, earlier, France's finance minister addressed concerns over the recovery. Despite the new variant and surging cases across Europe, he said he remains optimistic. The French economy is on track to grow over 6% this year.
Les places boursières sont toujours des hypersensibles et des hyper-réactives. Nous, notre devoir, c'est de garder notre sang-froid. Moi, je n'ai pas d'inquiétude pour la croissance française. Elle est solide, elle repose sur des fondamentaux qui sont bons. Il y a évidemment des points de vigilance, mais moi, mes vraies inquiétudes, elles sont plutôt ailleurs. Elles sont sur les difficultés d'approvisionnement que rencontrent beaucoup de secteurs, le bâtiment, les travaux publics, les industries automobiles en termes de semi-conducteurs. Elles portent aussi sur les difficultés de recrutement dans l'hôtellerie, dans la restauration. Ça, tous ceux qui nous écoutent ce matin savent bien que c'est très compliqué. Et elles portent sur les tensions inflationnistes qui résultent de ces goulets d'étranglement.
Well, next to India, where the government's withdrawn a series of controversial agricultural reforms, but where some farmers are continuing to protest. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he would abandon plans to deregulate the sector, giving into a year-long protest movement. Some activists, though, say that's not enough. They want more state support, including strictly enforced price floors for crops. It's all being watched closely in a country where 2/3 of the population relies on farming to make a living.
Farmers, किसान हमारे लिए अन्नदाता है. आज हम अपनी माँ को नहीं भूल सकते तो किसान को भूल जाएं. And it's not true. हम ये नहीं कर सकते. हम हिंदुस्तान के नागरिक हैं और हिंदुस्तान में धरती को माता कहा जाता है. जो हमारा अनाज हमारे लिए पैदा करते हैं, हम उनको भूल जाएं, ये पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो ये तो हो नहीं सकता कि हम अपने किसान भाइयों को भूल जाएं. तो हम उनको सपोर्ट करेंगे तन मन धन से till the end of my life.
And finally, one of the world's top automakers is doubling down on electric vehicles. Nissan says it'll spend more than $17 billion in the field over the next 5 years. That's about double its existing investment. Plans include the rollout of 15 fully electric vehicles by 2030 and the development of a cleaner, more effective battery. The move comes with much of the auto industry turning towards electric cars, including rivals GM, Ford, and Toyota. Stuart, this is of course a global phenomenon. Just a decade from now, sales for electric cars expected to be 10 times higher than they are today.
Hopefully they'll put in some more charging points, because that's the big problem at the moment, isn't it? Cole, thanks very much. Cole Stangler there with the business for us. Let's